It was really just a letdown because, I mean, I heard what, maybe like one actual use of a chairlift on this album, and it was right in the heart of things. I mean, it took like 20 minutes for me to hear one chairlift effect, and it was on Ottawa to Osaka, so obviously number one pick for the songs on this album. Hey everyone, John from ARTV. This is where you'll find album reviews, top 10 countdowns, and music discussion. Today I'm going to be discussing Chairlift's new record. They're an indie duo from New York. This one is called Moth, a follow-up to 2012 Something, a record that I thought was very good, but also lacking in some departments. There were a lot of great songs, but it didn't necessarily win me over as a whole. Favorite things about that album, some great bass lines, solid songwriting, and I think I'm seeing even more of that in this new album, Moth. When I first heard the single Ch-Ching, I was thinking, yes, this is definitely a change in their normal aesthetic, but at the same time, I'm loving the hip-hop production here, mixing that in with the regular synth-pop style. Great songwriting here, talking about just kind of success moving forward in life, and doing it all while being uber catchy. Probably my favorite song on this record, if I'm being honest. But what works all throughout this album? Why do I keep gravitating towards it? I've listened to this album probably 10 times from start to finish, which is more than I will normally do for a particular album review. I think the main reason is that these tracks feel connected. There's a great flow throughout these 10 songs in this 40-minute album. It's not the fact that all of these songs have a similar sonic goal in mind, it's the fact that they can flow in and out of each other without being completely jarring, which is a problem I've had with some albums already this year. There's plenty of discussion about love and relationships on this record, and I like how they do it and compare it in different ways. I mean, you've got the much more somber Crying in Public, which just finds Caroline Polachek, the lead singer of this duo, just kind of being overwhelmed in a public place. And I don't think that it's necessarily just about love or just about crying in public because you've been hit so hard with how blessed you actually truly are. It's just that moment whenever you feel the love and you feel the blessings that are in your life, and as a result you can't help but shed a tear just thinking about how wonderful things have been going lately, and that's gotta be an awesome feeling. So I like how we can go from that to Romeo, which compares things in like a race type scenario. I'm loving the pacing on that track. It's a little bit more vibrant, it's a little bit more poppy, but at the same time they pull it off and it just sounds stellar to me, along with the single Ch-Ching, which definitely went for a poppier sound as well. Polymorphing lets in these kind of dark dripping synthesizers that I really like, and then mixes it with an acoustic and brighter guitar, adding for these electronic slurred feels as the track progresses. I like how they can mesh all of this together but still have it come across really catchy. It's an engrossing listen. It's one that really brings you in because you get invested in the storyline that's going on here. This is probably my favorite track from a lyrical point of view, mainly because I think there's more than what meets the eye. I'm not saying it's so deep or anything like that, but the fact is she's saying something more than what you're asking for, kid. And then she goes on to make several other comparisons. If my heart was a garden, would you till it, etc. She's saying, look, is there more than what we're really giving this relationship? Is there more here? Are we just scratching the surface level, or are we actually going to get into this thing and really like see each other for what we are? Or are we only going to let each other know a certain part of ourselves? Synthpop has definitely been big and seen a resurgence in the past few years, and yes, Chairlift do a couple of songs in that vein, some more so than others. Romeo was definitely one that I picked up on it on, but also the track Moth to the Flame, which is becoming one of my favorite tracks just because it's irresistible. It's fervent and it just really gets the job done. The hook on this thing, I can't help it, I'm a moth to a flame. I really gotta stop trying to sing these moments. I really dig the dark bass grooves going on in this track, along with the shuffling drum line. And no, this song is not the most deep or the most original idea out there, I suppose. I can't help it, I'm a moth to a flame. We've all heard the comparison about the moth being drawn to the light. In this case, Caroline being the moth, and this guy that she's found just being the light, and she's drawn to it, keeps getting zapped. Possibly she's been zapped by love in the past, and now she's saying, I can't help myself, I'm gonna go back to the light anyways. I suppose Show You Off is another one that I can include in that inspired by the 80s category. It's very groove centric, and that's not a bad thing. It's just the lyrics maybe are a little bit shallow. Not a huge fan. That's one thing that could stop me from coming back to it in the future, I think. But I do like that a little bit of a brass section pops up. You'll see that a couple of times here all throughout about Moth. It's not all upbeat and peppy though. I already talked about Crying in Public, and there's a few other tracks that I dig that really slow things down a little bit. I like Unfinished Business. I think Caroline does a great job on the vocals on that track because she shows that she can kind of hit these different ranges. It's like her voice is going through this valley, and I dig that even if the track does run on for just a bit too long in my opinion. There's another track that I really like on this thing though called Ottawa to Osaka, and I think that the main thing that I like about that track is what I liked about their last record, really. It's the fact that there's an atmosphere here that I'm really falling for. There's a gorgeous atmosphere going on in a lot of that last record that came out in 2012, and I'm not saying that it's missing necessarily on this album, but I like the fact that we come back to it on this track in particular. It seems like it was inspired by like overseas instrumentation and that sort of thing. I'm hearing something that sounds almost like a sitar, and then some like weird keys that pop up all throughout. And even though this is one of the longer songs on the record, I don't think that it overstays its welcome by any means. No Such Thing as Illusion is a smart track that closes things out. I like the fact that it practices restraint, but also some payoff, and the build-up and the way the vocals are kind of held back whenever she sings There Is No Such Thing as Illusion. The fact that, you know, maybe we're not clouding our minds, maybe it's more so as we really see things and we're just trying to deceive ourselves to make things seem better. It's another thing that circles back to relationships and the good and the bad moments that come along with that. Overall though, really digging this project. There's some tracks that I don't think are as well crafted as others, even if they are catchy at surface level. So overall, I'm saying high replay factor for the most part though. 4 out of 5 for Chairlift's album Moth. Don't forget to check me out on social media, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. It's linked in the description down below. You can click right over here if you'd like to see a similar album that you might like, or maybe you could check out the last review that I did. Thanks for being here, hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, because friends don't let friends go unsubscribed. Other than that, I'll see you guys very soon right here on ARTV.